Southwest steak enchilada soup. I will also show you how I make a jalapeño sour cream sauce. You can use canned beans or dried beans. If using dried, start them a couple hours before everything else. If using canned, add them with the canned corn. To half a pound of dried beans, cover in 2 to 3 inches of water. I add the bay leaves and about 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoons of black pepper and cumin. Let those beans come to a boil. Then simmer for about 2 hours. Check your water level and add more as needed. The good thing about this soup is you can use any cut of beef. I had 2 pounds of this pre-marinated chat I found on sale. It had green and red onions mixed in it. Add a few tablespoons of oil into a big pot and over medium-high heat. Sear your pieces of meat. Water level was low. After about an hour or so, keep an eye on it. Once they have a sear, set them aside, then begin searing 1/2 red onion and 1/2 green pepper. I switch up which green pepper I use. Sometimes it's a bell pepper or jalapeno. This time I used a serrano. In the same pot, add more oil. Then your onions and peppers. I wanted bigger slices of peppers. You can dice them if you prefer. Here I'm blending a can of rotel. You can use any tomato, but it needs to be a sauce or crushed. I have used enchiladas sauce instead of crushed rotel. Many times I love it like that. Once you get some color on your peppers, then add 1 can of tomatoes of your choice, then 1 cup of green salsa, or you can use canned green chilies or green enchilada sauce, then 1 cup of water and 2 cups of broth. You want a combination of 5 to 6 cups of liquid. You can adjust to your liking. Add the meat back in. Then do your seasonings. 1 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoons black pepper, 1/2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoons paprika, 1/4 teaspoons crushed red pepper flakes. Next, add 1 cup of diced tomatoes. I have a bunch of homegrown tomatoes that need to be eaten, so I use those. Fresh or canned work just fine. If using dried beans, I add them now so they can really soak up all the flavor of the soup. If using canned, they might overcook and fall apart, so I add canned beans later with the corn. Cover that and let it cook 30 to 45 minutes until your beef is nice and tender. Once it's tender, add your can of corn and 1 can of beans. Now let that cook another 10 to 15 minutes. Next, I make a simple jalapeño sour cream sauce. I take about 6 jalapeños from a jar and dice them up. Next, I combine 2 teaspoons of the jalapeño juice from the jar. Add those together, then add 1/3 cup of sour cream. Then season how you like. I did cumin, black pepper, and parsley. Sometimes I do cilantro, but I'm topping my bowl with cilantro already. It's very good with fresh garlic. I make something similar. It's in my jalapeño green chili white chicken enchilada video. I put some rice in a bowl, topped it with a few scoops of the soup. Then add some of that sour cream or cheese. I like to add Fritos and onions. When we have leftovers, I put a good handful of Fritos in a tortilla with some of the soup and cheese and onions and have a Frito burrito. Also, having this with ground beef or chicken is really good too. Also, you can try with a Spanish style rice too. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.